Now's the time.
My ever-faithful companion, Dark Magician!
What is going on, YouTube? Thank you for joining me. As you can see from the title in the thumbnail, 17,463 duel points on stream. We got a great number, but we kind of threw it away. But that's not the point. Here we have a 40-ish, 43 card Dragon Link deck that is what we used on stream to get that many points. So I was playing the deck at 41 without the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. We'll go over the deck. It could be, I was playing 41, you could put it up to 43. That's what I wanted to say. So 2 Gamma, 1 Driver. You can discard the Driver for a Chaos space and have the Gamma in your hand. The Gamma is still activatable because Gamma can summon the Driver from the deck or the graveyard. Something to keep in mind. So we have 1 Driver, 1 Veiler as a crossout target. So our other crossout target is Infinite Impermanence, our one-ofs, in case we do have crossout in the hand. 2 Rocket Synchron. I was considering dropping 1 Rocket Synchron and adding in a second Recharger because I didn't use Rocket Synchron's effect to normal summon and special summon 1 from the grave that often. 3 Max C, you know how it goes. Dragoonity Remus. Now, I would recommend having Remus in the deck in case your Striker Dragon gets negated and you are unable to access your Boot Sector launch. You will still hopefully have something like a Collapse Repent or a Wyver Burster in the hand, some way to get you to Link 2, and that'll summon Romulus. Romulus searching for Dragon Ravine. Discard another card. Discard 1 card from your hand, and then you're gonna send the Remus to the graveyard. If your Striker Dragon gets negated and you do not have your Boot Sector launch. If you have Boot Sector launch, then I would send the Absolrouter from the deck to the grave and add a Tracer to my hand. Then Tracer, you can special summon it with the Boot Sector, or if you didn't normal summon yet, normal summon it, and then you can pop your Dragon Ravine. Avoid popping your Boot Sector. If you have not already and you still got that Ravine on the field, normal summon the Tracer and use the Tracer effect to pop the Ravine. You do not want to activate Rocket Tracer's effect before you have summoned Romulus. Once you use Tracer's effect, it will lock you into only summoning dark monsters from the extra deck. Only dark from the extra deck. Not many monsters in our extra deck are dark. The only dark monsters are the Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Sphere. I'm sorry. The only monsters that are not dark are the Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres and Remus. Seals is light, Remus is wind. Everything else is dark. Triple Ash, self-explanatory. 2 White Dragon Wyver Bursters and 2 Collapse Repent. You can banish a dark monster to summon the Wyver Burster. It's a light monster. Or you can banish a light monster both from your graveyards to summon. What I should say is you can banish a dark monster from your graveyard and summon the Wyver Burster. You can summon a light monster from your graveyard, summon the Collapse Pit. When they leave the field, when they go from the field to the grave, you search for the other one. So here it says, if this card is sent from the field to the grave, you can add 1 White Dragon Wyver Burster to your hand. That's the effect of the Collapse Pit. So the other one of them searches for the other. 2 Rocket Tracer, we talked about the Tracer. Recharger. When you use Tracer's effect to pop your Ravine or your Boot Sector, if you have to, you're most likely gonna summon a Recharger. There's the chance for you to summon a Synchron, but you're probably gonna go for the Recharger. And at that point, you can Synchro summon a Chaos Ruler if you want to have the potential to excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and you can add 1 light or dark monster of those excavated cards to your hand. The rest of them go to the grave. So you have the opportunity to potentially hit a Wyvern Burster or a Collapsepant if you're kind of bricked. So that can help you get out of a brick situation. If not, you will be probably summoning a Borreload Savage Dragon. Borreload Savage Dragon, I'm sure you're all familiar with. Equip a Link monster to it from the grave. It gets counters and negates. Starleaf Seifert is a great normal summon because you can send the Seifert from the grave. I'm sorry, you can send the Seifert from the field to the grave and search for a Collapsepant. Banish the Seifert, summon Collapsepant, you link summon your Striker Dragon, and now we're chain link blocking. We didn't even get to talk about the chain link blocking. So you want to summon, well, I guess we'll do that when we get to the extra deck, but you want to summon your Wyvern Burster with a Striker Dragon. Oh my gosh, what am I talking about? You want to summon your Striker Dragon with a Wyvern Burster or a Collapsepant. That way both of their effects activate at the same time, and you can protect your Striker Dragon from getting ashed. What you will do is summon, like I said, summon Striker with a Wyvern Burster or Collapsepant, and you will activate the Striker Dragon as Chainlink 1, and then Wyvern Burster or Collapsepant as Chainlink 2. This is also doable with the Abso Router and Noctovision. If the Noctovision is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can draw a card. So you want to use Wyvern Burster, Collapsepant, Abso Router, or Noctovision to summon Striker, and then Romulus. The Wyvern Burster searching for Collapsepant and vice versa perfectly sets you up for a Romulus. Then Romulus's effect will get you the Ravine. We talked about the Ravine. Sending the Abso Router to the graveyard will search for Tracer. We talked about this. It all leads to one road. Get a Romulus. And a Tracer. I mean, a Striker Dragon. Get your Boot Sector. Romulus helps you get to a Tracer if you don't have one already. Now, extra note here. Say you do have the Tracer in your hand, and you don't need the Abso Router to search for the Tracer. Maybe you use the Abso Router to summon the Romulus, because you can't use the Abso Router to summon a Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon requires a level 4 or lower dragon monster. These are all things to keep in mind. Also, same thing with Noctovision. Can't summon a Striker. So you're going to use the Abso Router or Noctovision in your Romulus summon. I guess we're going to have to show you the combo triangle so that you can fully understand the extra deck. Now, say we were talking about the Abso Router. Say you already used Abso Router's effect, and you link summon with it, and you have a Seifert in the graveyard. Now, I know there's a lot of conditions here, but it can happen. You can send the Levianeer to the graveyard with Ravine, and banish your Seifert from the graveyard, adding Levianeer to your hand. Levianeer. Then you can banish all... If you banish 3 dark monsters to summon it, you can take one random card from your opponent's hand and send it back to the deck. Hilarious. Then I would use the Levianeer to link summon. When you're banishing, I would recommend banishing Abso Router, Noctovision, Collapsepant, Sometimes I often found myself banishing a rocket monster, and it might have to be recharger, but you can get it back with the Pisty later. We'll talk about that. So that's why I think you could go for the 1 synchron and 2 recharger, but that's up to you. 1 Nibiru, that's another cross-out target. I guess we missed that one earlier. Talk about Levinia. Chaos Space, discarding a light or dark monster from your hand, and you can add the other one. You can add the other from levels 4 to 8 to your hand. So if you discard a light monster, you get a dark. If you discard a dark, you get a light. Then you can return one of your banished light or dark monsters from the banished zone, from being banished to the deck, and draw 1. I don't think you can do both effects. You can use each effect once, so you can do both of those effects. You can use both of those effects in one turn. So Ravine, we talked about it. Boot Sector Launch summons up to 2 rocket monsters from your hand with different names in defense position. You could also summon monsters from your graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls more than you. Better way to say that. If your opponent controls more monsters than you, special summon rocket monsters with different names from your graveyard in defense position up to the difference. So, if you control 1 monster and your opponent controls 3 monsters, you can summon 2 rockets with different names from your grave if you don't have them in your hand. That's why it's important to not pop your boot sector if you don't have to. 2 Chaos, Cosmic Cyclone, Runic meta, trying to go be prepared to play against some Runic. You could put this card to 3. I haven't crafted the 3rd one. Could definitely be useful. Other cards to possibly add, we talked about it. We're at 42. I figured out the card. It is the... That would bring us to 43 cards. Red Eyes, Darkness, Metal Dragon. I use this a lot during the Link Only event. Maybe I'm sleeping on it, and it's a lot better than we think. Try and use it. I don't know. Its effect. You can only special summon this monster by banishing 1 face-up dragon monster you control. You can only summon 1 once per turn this way. Then you can, once during your main phase, you can special summon 1 dragon monster from your hand or graveyard, except itself, once per turn. So banish 1 dragon, summon it, and then you summon another one from your grave. Then when you banish, you can use the Pisty to summon a dragon from your graveyard. Yeah. During your main phase, you can target 1 of your dragon monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, special summon it to a zone that 2 of your dragon monsters point to. We're going to get to how you create that. Just keep in mind, you can summon a banished monster back using Pisty. Nibiru, cross-out target, we talked about it. Quick Launch summons a rocket monster from your deck. Most of the time, you're probably going to want to summon a Tracer. That way you can pop your Ravine early. The Quick Launch baits Ash. So, maybe what I would do is, if you have a Gamma in your hand, start with a Chaos Space. They might Ash that, and then you can activate your Gamma. You can also use Seyfried's effect to send itself from the field to the grave with no monsters on the field. You would be able to activate Gamma in response to an Ash from that. So keep that in mind. Gamma, Poggers. back to quick launch. Keep in mind, the monster summoned with quick launch cannot attack, and it will also be destroyed during the end phase of that turn. So you're going to want to use it to link summon or synchro summon to get it off the field, that monster. Otherwise, it's leaving. 2 called by the grave for obvious reasons, 1 cross-out designator, and 1 infinite impermanence as a cross-out target. In the extra deck, we have Borreload Savage Dragon, giving you negates, Chaos Ruler, excavating the top 5 cards of the deck, helping you get to what you need. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss is a level 9 synchro monster that can be summoned with 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner Dark Dragon synchro monster. So what you're going to do is, you're going to summon the Hot Red using Chaos Ruler and a Rocket Synchron. Guard Dragon Pissy, we'll talk about that with the combo triangle. Striker Dragon, searching for your boot sector launch. Erratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. If you get hit with a Max C, your opponent activates Max C, your turn becomes summoning Erratic Seal and pass. You don't want to play into their Max C. And some experienced Dragon Link players will tell you that Sealed Pass might be just as good as a Borrowland. We can talk about why. Next, we have Dragoonity Knight Romulus. Romulus is going to search for the ravine. Oh, we forgot to talk about the Remus in full detail earlier. With Remus in the grave and Romulus on the field, you can summon the Remus from grave. So, if your Striker Dragon gets negated, you're going to use Ravine to send Remus to the field, and then you can summon it with its own effect while Romulus is on your field. We talk about Romulus. Dilingerius. Dilingerius, during the end phase, during your opponent's end phase, you can target 1 attack position your monster controls that did not declare an attack this turn, destroy it. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. That is not the important effect of this card. Its second effect is, if a rocket monster is special summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So, you're going to use Borrowland's effect to negate a monster, and you're going to summon a rocket monster from your grave, like a Tracer or possibly Recharger, and that is what you're going to use to get your final synchro summon for your Borreload Savage Dragon. Borreload is, for the most part, the last summon I would do. Some people say you might be able to do it earlier. All about how you feel. Now, when that monster comes back to the field, when the rocket comes back to the field with the Borland effect, you're also going to be able to summon that Dilingerius. Now, if you did not already use Tracer's effect, Tracer, pop Dilingerius, and summon a rocket from your deck is an excellent move. You might get into a situation where you have access to only 2 rockets. Or let's say you can only get to link 2. But you do have access to a Tracer and a Recharger in the graveyard. It would require a rocket monster. Let's scratch that. The Tracer and the Recharger don't have to be in the graveyard. One of them would be in the grave, and you'd have the other one on the field. use one of those to summon Quad Boral. Only 2 dragon monsters, one of them including a rocket. You have, let's first, for instance, you have Recharger in your grave. Use Tracer and a Wyver Burster. Summon Quad Boral. Quad Boral effect. Discard a card. Targeting itself. Destroying it. Then you can summon Tracer and Recharger. Summon Borreload Savage Dragon and equip the Quad Boral to the Borreload, and you'll have 2 negates. That's like a ditch scenario, in case your other plays did not work. Alright, slight interruption, but we're back. We talking about the Quad Boral effect, discard a card, targeting itself, destroying it. But you don't have to target itself. This is only a spicy tech. You can target a monster your opponent controls and summon rocket monsters with different names from your hand or graveyard up to the link rating of the monster destroyed. In this scenario, we just be happening to use the Quad Boral itself as a target, as a turn 1 play, in case our opponent does not have a link monster worth destroying with the Quad Boral effect. And sometimes, maybe if your opponent has a negate, they might not negate Quad Boral destroying itself because they don't know what's coming. That's up for you to decide. IP Masquerena on your opponent's turn. Summon a Nightmare Unicorn. Poggers. Triple Burst Dragon effect is a tech for when you're creating your combo triangle with your Pisty. And the Triple Burst, we'll talk about the positioning of them. But when you do that and you use the Triple Burst, you would be able to equip the Triple Burst to the Borreload and give the Borreload 3 counters for up to 3 negates. Access Code Talker came in handy, most importantly, for the Ad Ignister matchup when trying to out the Arrival. The only way to defeat Ad Ignister is to summon a Access Code Talker using a Borrelend. Because Borrelend is link 5, the Access Code Talker would gain 5,000 attack, going up to 7,300. And that pretty much covers the deck. I'm sorry if that was too long. This was after playing 200 games in the Duelist Cup. So if you're trying to extract 200 games of knowledge into like 10 or 15 minutes, this is the place. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Consider subscribing. Check us out on Twitch. Link in the description. See you there. Alright, here we are. I wanted to show you the combo triangle in its entirety. So this is it. We're going to start off with Chaos Space. Sending Rocket Synchron to the grave. Add Wyver Burster. Unfortunately, in this situation, we're going to have to banish that Synchron. But we could get it back. Banish Synchron. Whee! Summon Striker Dragon. But we already have Boot Sector in the hand. Kinda sucks. Don't ask yourself. Now we summon Collapse Print. Collapse Print effect. We're going to special summon it by banishing the Wyver Burster. Using both of them to link summon Romulus. Gonna search for Dragon Ravine. When the Collapse Print goes from the field to the grave, its effect will activate to search for a Wyver Burster. Perfectly setting you up to discard the Wyver Burster to activate the Ravine effect. So we are going to now activate the Chaos Space. returning the Wyver Burster. Oh, this is actually exactly what I wanted. So return the Wyver Burster from being banished to the deck. We draw 1. Now we activate Ravine. Ravine effect. This is exactly what I wanted to show you. The perfect draw, drawing the quick launch. You could either draw the quick launch or rocket tracer. So that's 2 tracers and 3 quick launches. That was the chances to draw that card. Add. No, we're gonna send 1 dragon monster from the deck to the grave. Well, because we have the quick launch, you don't even need to do that. You know, we'll send the dragon from the deck to the grave. You're not adding to the hand. You never really want to do that. Send Remus. You could send Absol, and that would add a rocket tracer to the hand, but we already got our rocket tracer with the quick launch. So send Remus. Now, another benefit to the Remus here is if your Striker Dragon gets negated and you don't have Boot Sector, you can summon your Remus from the grave when the Romulus is on the field. Now, keep in mind, we did not normal summon this turn. You could replace this quick launch with a normal summon. Normal summon it right here, and then we have the combo triangle that I've been telling you about. So now, activate quick launch. Summon Tracer. We're going to put that Tracer. Put it right here. Tracer's effect. This is it. Pop Ravine. Summon Recharger. Now, using the Remus to summon Pisty, you always want to put your level 4 dragons here, or wherever you're completing your triangle. Romulus, Pisty, we almost have our triangle. Now, I call it a triangle because you would summon a Striker Dragon here, and then the Pisty and the Striker Dragon would both be pointing to the middle right column, and you would summon a dragon to that zone. You could also use the triple burst if you wanted to have the opportunity to equip a Link 3 monster to your Boral and giving your Boral load 3 Boral counters. A lot going on here. So because we already summoned a Wyver Burster and a Collapse Pint, we're not going to summon the Chaos Ruler. Now, maybe you could Chaos Ruler and draw into a rocket, but I'm not really concerned with that right now. Pisty effect. We're going to summon the Rocket Synchron from the graveyard, bring it back. In defense, here, we haven't, and the best part is we haven't even used our Boot Sector. Now, using Romulus. Well, okay, we'll skip the part. Skip something here. You have the opportunity to summon Dilingerius or Quad Boral. Quad Boral would be an easy way to summon the Borolo. We talked about that earlier. We're going to use Pisty and Striker Dragon to summon Dilingerius. Boral End effect. I'm sorry, effect. Summon Boral End using the Romulus, Rocket Synchron, and the Dilingerius. Summon Boral End. Now Boral End's effect. Target the Recharger, and we're going to target the Tracer, summon it from the grave. Dilingerius' effect will activate in the graveyard. Because you summoned a rocket from the grave, you can also summon the Dilingerius. Now, if we did not already use the Rocket Tracer's effect, you would be able to Tracer, pop Dilingerius, and summon another rocket from your grave. We are going to summon Borreload Savage Dragon. equipping the Romulus to it. And we have Crossout Designator, Boral End effect to negate a monster, Borreload Savage Dragon Omni negate, and Ash Blossom to negate search or special summon from the deck. Also sending a card from the deck to the grave. Terraforming. I feel like that is an Ash. But also be bait. We're gonna Ash that. Could have been Runic, who knows? Or Numeron. But there you go. That is the Dragon Link's combo triangle.